What's going on, YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 Times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. If you're new to the fam, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a video. Let's get right into the story. The self-defense law is a hard thing to prove. You got certain states like Florida who had a stand your ground law, meaning if you feel threatened and someone is trying to physically harm you, you can defend yourself, even if that means taking a life. But in some places, it's none of that. They expect you to call the police and not take matters into your own hands. And a self-defense claim after catching a body is something hard to prove. If it wasn't a lot of witnesses saying that the person you hurt was trying to hurt you first. Let's take it a little deeper. What if the person you are accused of hitting is your homie? It's sad that with guns and everybody having egos and trying to be an alpha male, you can barely trust your own peoples. Some people will have a disagreement, might even throw hands, go grab a drink and squash it. But when blicks are involved, it can turn a minor situation into shots going off. But if a person knocks you off over a few words, is that really your homie? And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will be discussing the case in which a man killed his friend, and was it self-defense or just a hit? According to sources, two friends, both from Chicago, went to Gary, Indiana to link up with some females and go on a double date. The men were at the time 21-year-old Larry Boston and 20-year-old Charles Golden, who were both childhood friends. The homeboys were with another associate who was from Indiana and were driving them through the city in a Nissan Altima. They headed to a barbershop to get fresh for the date. Allegedly, Larry and Charles would start a small back and forth about who would get their hair cut first, causing a little tension, but nothing heavy. Once they all left the shop and got back in the whip, things would get crazy when the two friends would start trying each other, arguing about stupid stuff, a witness later stated. But it got real when they both started threatening to kill each other. Allegedly by this time, according to sources, Larry was sitting in the back seat and Charles in the front passenger side. As the back and forth got more heated, allegedly, Larry upped the blick and let off one shot, hitting Charles in the forehead on 47th Street and Broadway in Gary. The driver shot, jumped out the car without putting it in park. Also, Larry hopped out the back and tried to pull Charles' body out before running away from the scene. The driver ran to a nearby gas station and told them to call police and waited for them to arrive. As local authorities got to the scene, they found Charles suffering from one shot to the head and would unfortunately not survive. The driver, who now was a witness, told police about the argument the two friends had at the barbershop. He told them he met both men about 2 years ago through a mutual homeboy and said Charles and Larry always argued, even played fight, but it never got that serious. He told police he felt like he was used and the murder was premeditated by Larry, as he waited until they got to an isolated spot and shot Charles, stating Larry tried to dump his body, even jumped in the driver's seat when he hopped out, but ran when he got to 47th Avenue and Adams Street. Allegedly, to get back home to Chicago, Larry carjacked the lady in Indiana, and about 10:45 a.m., a chase would start as Indiana police got on his heels. The pursuit would go all the way into Chicago, with Larry finally being grabbed, hiding in the attic in his south side of Chicago home, and took back to Indiana to face charges of murder, carjacking, and robbery. But as the case made the trial, Larry's lawyers pointed out a case of self-defense, stating he only shot Charles because he thought he was about to shoot him. His attorneys argued it was guns in the car, and Larry thought he saw Charles reaching for the center console to grab a blick. Larry would take the stand, stating he was in fear for his life and that Charles was calling him names and threatening him the whole ride. So when he saw him reach he grabbed his blick and shot. But as the state's prosecutors got a turn to prove their case, they painted a different picture altogether. They alleged Larry was mad about the argument, waited till they got to a remote location, and simply shot Charles. As there was no gun found in the center console or on Charles. The only two guns found was a gun on the driver when police searched him at the scene, and the gun later found in the area in Indiana that was the murder weapon that Larry allegedly threw out the window after carjacking a lady for her whip. They also showed pictures of the inside of the car and argued that Larry was trying to dump Charles' body, cover his tracks, and make it back to Chicago. And that's not the action of a man claiming self-defense. Closing arguments came from both sides, with Larry's lawyers asking did Charles make Larry kill him, and that the prosecution was only focused on what happened after the shooting and not before. But with the evidence and the driver's statement, Larry was found guilty on the hit of his friend and sentenced to 73 years in prison. Rest in peace to Charles. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. What do y'all think? This was a self-defense situation or a person mad about an argument and just decided to smoke his mans? Let me know. But moral of this story, watch who you call your friend. That's a strong word. A real homie would never kill you, but simply, if it's that serious, cut you off if they not feeling your vibes no more because they don't want to see no harm come your way. But for a day one homie to knock off his friend over an argument makes me think he never liked yo from the first place. Watch the company you keep. The same person you call brother will have your mother crying. So remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, it's a crazy story. First and foremost, rest in peace, Charles, 20 years old, lost his life. And I don't know what their situation was before they left Chicago, but y'all heard the story. They said they was going to link up with some females, and allegedly, they just was going back and forth the whole time. Maybe it was already some tension in the air. Maybe they were just saying where it was going to go from here. Maybe Charles thought it was just going to be a fist fight or whatever. But unfortunately, allegedly, Larry had other things on his mind. And sometimes it be like that, man. You feel me? Like, we in a time and age, everybody not just going to step out in the street and throw hands, If people got a weapon on them, they going to shoot. You feel me? Dudes ain't out here lifting no weights, trying to fight everybody off drinks, grass, you feel me, pills, all kind of stuff. So, unfortunately, situations like this go left. But if that's your homie, I just feel like it's other ways around that. Even if you be like, you know what, bro? After this, I ain't even rocking with you no more. You go your separate ways. I go my separate ways. Sometimes you just got to leave it like that. Sometimes you outgrow a person, but to take their life crazy, man. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments. You feel me? I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. This your boy Tony 2 Times. This another episode of Hood Tales. I'm out.